Hi everyone, my name's Connor and I'm a maths tutor. So today we're going to look at a brief example of simplifying fractional indices. The example we're going to do today is this one, to calculate 64 to the power of 2 over 3. So the way that I like to do these questions is I actually like to split up my power into two. So what we've actually got going on here is you've got 64 to the power of 1 over 3, all to the power of 2. So why is that true? Why are we allowed to do that? So let's just remind ourselves of one of our rules of indices. So let's say you've got a number x and you're going to raise that to the power of n, a different number, and then you're going to raise that all to the power of m. So do you remember one of our rules of indices? We multiply the powers if we have something like this. We're going to multiply our powers. So that was one of our rules of indices. And of course, the number 2 over 3 is just the same as 1 over 3 times by 2. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm essentially saying that this n is 1 over 3 and this m there is 2, and obviously this x there in our question is 64. So we're just splitting the 2 over 3 into 1 over 3 times by 2. Okay, great. So then we're going to do our calculations. We've got 64 to the power of 1 over 3. Now, hopefully you guys remember that that is the same as the cube root of 64. So let's just remind ourselves that if you have a number, and again, we'll call it x, to the power of 1 over n, actually, I'm going to call it a different letter. Let's just call it a. Then that's going to be the 8th root of x. Okay, so that's another rule of indices that we need to know. So you've got here the cube root of 64. Now, cube root of 64 is the number 4. And why is it 4? Well, that's because 4 cubed, so 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So the cube root of 64 is going to be 4. So you've got 4 squared, which is 4 times 4. So our final answer to this question is going to be 16. So that's just an example of how we could deal with a fractional indices question if we get that in our exam.